Hello, Just Hoops family. We are back with another podcast. Apparently, we had a schedule of every round we're going to do one podcast, but
that was unintentional.
Yes, very unintentional. Quite busy on our end, but we're here. Finals time, and we're not talking school. We're talking NBA finals. The table is set. We have the Warriors versus the Boston Celtics. Not the Miami Heat this time. The Boston Celtics.
Okay.
It's very exciting. We're ready to get into it Thursday. This podcast will be coming out Tuesday. But yeah, what are your thoughts?
I like that bar you dropped though. Not school with finals. That was good. That was crispy.
There's electricity in the air, Jacob.
And
not just talking about the sky.
Hey, Mike Breen better be getting healthy. That's all I'm saying. I'm excited. It should be a fun series. You got a defensive-oriented team versus an offensive-oriented team. Both teams are really good on both ends of the floor, though. Boston not as good offensively, and the Warriors not as good defensively, but they're both in the top 10. So it'll be fun. I think it's a good matchup, and it should be just really good basketball both ways.
So we could start by going out west, talking about what they did, what the Warriors did well against the Mavs.
They stuck to their guns. That, in my opinion, was their biggest thing, is that they never changed. They knew what they were going to do, how to be successful, and they just went out and did it. The biggest example for me was probably just how they guarded Luka. They were like, hey, we're not going to switch Steph onto him, so, hey, we're going to just constantly show. And they didn't change that from game 1 to game 5. It was just, hey, this is going to be how we're going to do things, and we did that. And offensively, the ball movement, player movement, the pace, they almost came back from down 29 in a quarter, which was very impressive. We were on live stream for that one, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was insane. Like, just showing their depth, too, because that was the bench 5 that came in there and did that. So, like, overall, their ability to be adaptive while also sticking to what they know and how they play was my biggest takeaway from that series.
Yeah, just you know what you're going to get offensively. Everybody's moving. 1 through 5, cutting that small ball lineup. Draymond really just controlling the pace, controlling what everybody does. But what really not surprised me but stood out to me was their defense, like you said. Their rotations, staying very disciplined with the showing. Not really I guarantee, I don't have the numbers, but it couldn't have been more than 3 to 5 times a game that Curry got switched on to Luka, and they had over 40 ball screens with Curry being involved. And just being able to stick to that and not faltering at all within that, that was very impressive for the Warriors. Now, the one thing, they gave up a lot of open threes against the Mavs. They got lucky. I thought they got lucky, considering that the Mavs have shot 40% all playoffs, and then they played the Warriors and shoot 20 to 30%. That was the only thing that I was like, you got to kind of pick that up, especially against the Celtics, who have been also shooting 40% all playoffs from 3. But again, you also could pick and choose who you want to shoot.
It's not the same level of shooter that
Boston
has.
No. The Mavs definitely have better shooting than the Celtics do, but I think the Celtics have more weapons. But not getting into the matchups yet. Now we could go back to the East.
We'll just talk about the Warriors real quick. Who do you think is the standout guy?
Those rookies.
That's what I was going to go the same way.
Kuminga especially, but then Moody had really big games.
Yeah.
He was a big piece in that comeback, and then in the closeout game, he had huge minutes for the Warriors. So the production that they're getting out of the rookies, and then to go away from that, I'll let you talk more about that, but I'll go. Andrew Wiggins has been playing back at his all-star level. He played in that last series, getting downhill, using his athleticism to attack the Mavericks, and he was shooting at like a 40% clip. So they need him to kind of take the pressure off of not only Curry but Clay. Let Clay take his time to get going. That was a huge thing because Clay started every game really slow, especially except for the closeout game.
Game 5.
But that's like if you have Wiggins scoring 24 a game, take the pressure off of everybody on the Warriors offensively, and then defensively he was picking up full court, picking up Luka full court, so he's going to have another big-time matchup against Jason Tatum, and he's going to need to bring that energy and play at that level again for the Warriors to bring home the championship.
The rookies for me were like those guys that like, hey, you gave awesome minutes, awesome production, you did your role at a really high level, but I'm actually going to go with Kevon Looney. Looney's ability to rebound, his ability to guard, his ability to just do his job.
Best player in the league.
At an insane level. Like, the guy went out there and was getting double-doubles like it was no big deal. Like, he was just playing hard. He was giving it his all. That type of effort can't go without notice. I think his ability to, especially just defensively, to just guard and do a variety of things, like be the primary helper, be able to switch onto Luka, be able to do all these things, allowed the Warriors to be more adaptive and more, like, just overall not, I don't know the word I'm trying to say. Just their ability, like his ability to switch opened up a lot of things for them defensively, being able to rotate easier, being able to be in the gaps better, being able to just do everything better because his ability to guard the ball was actually very good for him being his size, his weight. Like, you wouldn't expect him to be able to sit on Luka and stay in front for more than 2 or 3 bounces. So it was really good on his end at that end of the floor. And offensively, his ability to rebound, his ability to finish around the rim, and his ability to be a hub offensively for him to catch it at the elbow, be smart with it, make decisions, catch it in a 5-out situation, allow things to develop around him, and just make the right decision with the ball in his hand. So somebody like that going against Boston will be huge because Boston's ability to guard, Boston's ability to just stifle an offense, make somebody stagnant. So the more you have a playmaker and the more you give the Steph and Clays and Wiggins the ability to slash around and make plays off the ball, is just going to be huge because for the Celtics, you won't have anybody that can fall asleep, like on the ball, off the ball. Like, everybody has to be alert, everybody has to be active against that high potent, high movement offense of the Warriors. So now you want to go out east?
Now we'll go back to the East. Talk about
what
Boston. The Celtics did well against the Heat. You could start it, or yeah, you got it.
Defense.
Yes.
They have probably the best defense that I have seen since
long time.
I don't even know. Like, maybe the Heat in like 2012, the 60-some win team.
Like, you might be able to throw the Raptors in there too, 19.
Yeah, that Raptors team was good too. But, like, what we're trying, just like, they're one of the best defenses in the past, like, 30, 40 years. Like, easily. Like, their ability to switch, their ability to have 8, I'm going to include Pritchard, 8 guys that could honestly go out there and give you great effort. They showed a lot of drop in the Miami series, which I don't think you'll be able to do against Steph, but their ability to adjust and show something else that you didn't really show much during the regular season was awesome. And Robert Williams is not 100%, but his ability to impact the game at 3 levels defensively, like, he did a really good job on the ball. He did an awesome job in the gap, and when he was able to do his job as that primary helper, paint protector, where you'll scram him off, keep him as the low man, do what you did all year, he is incredible at that. Like, it's what the Jazz try to do with Gobert, but how their personnel on the perimeter allows it to be so much easier and so much better, where you just put the most athletic, biggest guy on the floor at the rim and be like, hey, try to make a play at the rim. He basically, like, for 6, 7 games, I'll say 7 games against the Heat, whenever he was in the game, in the paint, Miami would get a paint touch and they would just, like, dribble out immediately. They were not trying to deal with him at all. Jimmy a couple times was able to make a play through him or around him. But overall, Robert Williams I'm like, to go to X Factor a little bit, he's going to be that guy. Like, it being a vertical threat offensively, where you're offensive rebounding, catching lobs, making those types of plays, but also being able to guard like that, being able to switch onto Steph and try to contain him on the perimeter, being able to be in a gap and make a play, a stunt, or get out and contest and probably block a three, and being able to be a big-time rim presence. Offensively, he's going to have a good matchup against Looney, probably, in my opinion. I think it's a good matchup for him. But even Draymond Green, he outsizes, out-athleticisms everyone that the Warriors could kind of throw at him.
He'll be on Draymond if they start that really big lineup.
They'll start Horford.
So it'll be him on Draymond and then Horford on...
No.
You think Horford on Draymond?
Yeah.
I just think because of switching purposes. Like, not switching purposes, but
Well,
like
like
Draymond with handoffs and stuff. I think Robert Williams would be better in showing.
Horford did good, though. I think Robert Williams will want to keep at the rim from, like, a scheme standpoint. But, just like that, like a little talk about that. But Boston was incredible defensively. Offensively, they weren't as incredible. They had dry spells, but honestly, Miami had the second best defense left out of the conference finals. So, like, two great defenses going back and forth. It's tough to always have a rhythm. And I think that Boston matches up well with the Warriors in terms that you got two guys on the perimeter that can go and get their own bucket, and you're not going to be able to guard both of them. So we'll just see how they do. I really like their 5-out, their movement in a 5-out, their ability to have a ton of options, get free up guys. So we'll see what happens, how they go at attacking the switchiness of the Warriors. I think Steph's going to get thrown in a lot of action again, but that probably will be their best bet. But overall, for the Celtics offensively, you have to get off the ball quick. Move it, allow the ball to free up, allow the ball to let the offense breathe. And the more you get that ball movement, player movement, the more good to great shots you'll get instead of settling for off the bounce, trying to hit a fadeaway over a hard contest. So we'll see what they do.
Yeah, for the Celtics, it was mainly defense. Like, their defense was amazing. Not only Robert Williams at the rim, but Al Horford's effect. Bam Adebayo was coming off of a 31-point game in Game 3, and then Game 4, Horford's guarding him, and he's scared to even shoot the ball because he blocked him 2 straight times. Like, the effect of Al Horford, not only like Robert Williams, like you said, they dribble into the paint and just run right out because they're like the rim protection's insane. Like, I forget which game we were watching, but I was like, his impact is better than what Rudy Gobert is, and Rudy Gobert is praised for his rim protection. Like, that's like, it's what Utah wants Rudy Gobert's effect to be. But I feel like their on-ball pressure too is like their like one-on-one defense has been amazing too. Like, everything, gaps, like we said this before the season, like, they have all the pieces to be an amazing defense. Like, they have all the individual defenders from Marcus Smart to Jaylen Brown, and then Jason Tatum even stepped up this year. They said the stat in I think Game 7 and Game 6 that every last one of their players were voted starters were voted for an all-defensive team. Or was it defensive player?
I think it was supposed to be all defensive team. I think
all defensive team. Which is it's amazing. Like, it's just amazing to watch that defense, how they rotate, how they are in the gap, how strong they are, and like contesting, knowing what matchup, who they want to shoot, who they don't want to shoot. Like, they did an amazing job against Miami, especially against the shooters too. Like, they didn't let Strus get off a good look. He probably got less than 10 good looks in the entire series. They did an amazing job on except for Jimmy in the last 2 games, which you really couldn't guard him. But they did an amazing job all series in one-on-one defense.
That was an interesting thing with Jimmy because, like, you can see that after Jimmy had those 2 bad games, they sagged off him. Like, they completely showed a different look against him where And then he started getting going, and then in Game 7, it was literally all up into him. Like, every time he touched the ball, there was a body in his grill, like, really showing their presence, but he was unstoppable in those last 2 games.
Yeah. He got to the line a lot. But
yeah.
Offensively, like Jacob said, they need to move the ball. Like, they just need to keep going, keep moving the ball. I like Derek White's impact, like, kind of going ahead to someone I'm going to talk about.
Just dive into it.
Like, he's been... It's scary because of how well he's shooting right now, too. Like, I know Game 6 he had 20-something. I don't know what he had in Game 7, but the last 2 games, he might have missed 2 threes.
He had confidence. Like, he was actually looking for a shot.
He's not scared. Like, in the beginning of the series, like, Miami literally was in the paint guarding him. Like, they were like, he's not going to shoot. He's like... He's not aggressive, and now he's getting downhill, getting to his floater. He was the one, especially in round 2. We did a live stream, and we were talking about how Boston needs to get into the paint before they kick out and try to get those threes. And Derek White was the one. They brought him in. He'd get downhill, get in the paint, land on 2, kick out to Grant Williams or Mark Smart corner 3. Like he was the one getting them. Those wide open looks, and then against Miami, they were out on shooters. They were like, Derek White beat us, and he was getting in the lane, floater. He made them have to guard him. So if he could do that against the Warriors, it's just going to open up everything for the Celtics. Like his impact. Guy. And then defensively, it's not like he's a mismatch. Like he's going to be able to sit down and guard. Like,
that's the crazy part, that he was the one that was hunted.
Yeah, like that. Like you can't really hunt anyone, but that's also the Warriors don't hunt anyone. They're just gonna keep moving around. But we can talk about the matchups later.
We both kind of talked about our X factor, so you want to just dive into the series?
Yeah. Well, I'll start with
we'll go like 2 things we're looking forward to seeing.
How the Celtics are gonna guard all the we talked about this in the conference finals preview, how the Celtics really pre-switch, and they really can't do that against the Warriors. Like you said, they stopped against Miami later on in the series, but like just because of how many actions the Warriors go through and how random it is, like you can't really pre-switch. So I just want to see what matchups are and how they guard ball screens, handoffs, like with Draymond in the action. I want to see if they kind of go small ball, too. Like, I want to see if they kind of try to combat the Warriors' small ball with another type of small ball, with either Grant Williams at the 5 or keep Robert Williams in at the 5 and go small around him. So I want to see, like, because they have all the, like, their team is so versatile, and everyone, Pritchard.
He plays hard on defense.
He plays hard, but like he's not the best defender.
No.
But like that's the thing that I love about Boston is like how hard they play. Like I wasn't mad that they're in the finals. Like it's like I was like they deserve it. They play hard. They play their hearts out. Had an amazing season too from how it started till now. But like. I want to see like those different types of lineups that like they could put 5 guys out there that could defend. Like I want to see if they try to just focus on the defensive end and then offense just like let it happen, let it flow. Like I don't know.
One thing that I'm looking for, you talked about it a little bit from like small ball.
Yeah.
I want to see who small ball wins the day because Boston has the ability to go small with even like a Grant Williams at the 5. So, like, doing something like that where it's like, say it's a Smart, Brown, Tatum, White, and Grant Williams lineup, like, that lineup against the Warriors who you can play Bjelica at the 5, that could be small ball, Draymond at the 5. I think Bjelica is another X-Factor guy.
I think Kuminga will get more run than...
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Yeah. Like, the Warriors have, like, you were saying that Boston's versatile, but, like, the Warriors are even more. Like, their ability to throw so many different lineups.
I would just say deep.
Yeah.
They're the deepest team.
That, like, That's what actually we talked about with the Dallas series, like how we were saying
Whose bench
who
would
the
win?
other guys will win, and the Warriors' other guys won.
Yeah.
From Jordan Poole, Bielitsa came in those last 2 games and was phenomenal.
Rookies.
The rookies, so that's 4 guys right there that gave like huge impact, and then yet alone talk about Looney, Wiggins, like everybody on that team stepped
And
up.
Gary Payton's coming back.
Oh, is he coming back?
So I don't know if it's game 1 or not, but they said he's coming back.
You're about to have 10 deep, at least.
Yeah.
10, 11
10,
deep.
11.
Where you can Steve Kerr could genuinely be like, okay, this game, like game 1, let's keep size out there all the time. So you can go with Looney for 25 minutes, and then the rest of the game play a Bielitsa, Bielitsa's their only other size guy, but he's still small.
And
So.
Kuminga.
Kuminga.
Like they bring Kuminga in as center.
So whoever small ball wins, I think, will be huge, and that'll go to the glass.
Mhm.
Whoever is able to rebound better.
That's one thing that I think the Celtics kind of match up well because
Yeah.
like they controlled the glass against Miami low key. Like
No, they did.
not
That's
like,
what in wins in that Miami series. It was literally rebounds and turnovers.
and third quarter.
Yeah. It was like from a stat standpoint, like the amount of rebounds you get, and the ability to hold on to the ball and
Was
not
it-
be stupid with it.
I was mixing up the series.
My
bad.
But what other thing?
I was going to say this also. You could talk about bench production, because in those last especially Game 7, but in most of the Celtics wins, their bench production demolished Miami's bench production. So I want to see if Derek White comes back in and could get you 15 points, and then you have great production from Grant Williams too. I want to see if Boston's reserves could step up to the level that the Warriors are going to bring off the bench. That's definitely going to be a huge key for them, just to take pressure off of all the starters, especially on the offensive end. They're going to come in and give you great effort defensively, great effort on the glass. So it's just going to be if Boston's bench could match that production of the Warriors bench.
And then for me, the second thing that I'm really looking forward to seeing is how each team guards the difficulties of the other. So for the Celtics, I want to see ball screens, whether they're willing to switch everything, and then off ball, whether they're willing to switch everything or not. And then because in that Miami series, they started actually staying with their matchup a lot. Same with Miami. Both teams started off the series very switchy, and then as the series went, it was PJ, you need to stay with JT, and then try to keep Smart or Brown on Jimmy, and then also you're trying not to get Tatum in a bad situation, or you're not trying to get Derek White always switching. They start really showing when they didn't want to switch. And then same with the Warriors. Are you gonna switch Steph? Because there's no real good matchup for Steph in this series. Are you gonna be willing to switch Klay onto Jason Tatum, even though he hasn't been the best defensive player? Are you going to be willing to switch Looney, because Luka and Tatum and Brown present way different issues? Luka is not the most athletic, quickest guy, while Tatum and Brown could beat you off the bounce off of a move. So are you going to be willing to switch those, or are you going to make them attack a drop, force a lot of tough twos? I'm excited to see, especially ball screen defense for both teams, and it'll be just because both teams know how to combat it, know what they can do. So it'll be fun. I don't think one thing that Boston started to do against Lowry was they tried to down him in the middle of the floor. And I think against the Warriors, if you down a ball screen, especially say it's Draymond setting the screen, or even Looney, these guys can make plays. So you take the down and you hit that pop or the short, and you're playing with numbers on the backside of that. So they're it's going to be difficult because of the different challenges presented. Miami had a lot of good opportunities off the short roll, whether it was Bam or whether it was PJ, just getting them in a spot to play with numbers, or getting them downhill off that, hitting them early in the pocket. So the Warriors could do that same thing and really exploit that if they go and drop. If not, if they switch, I want to see how Boston goes at Steph, goes at Klay. goes at Looney, goes at Poole, like these guys that you could probably easily get a bucket on, easily attack. So ball screen defense is going to be huge for me to see what each team's doing, how they're going to attack it.
Yeah. I also want to see what the Warriors do in the gaps. Like, I want to see if they're as heavy as they were on Luka when Tatum has the ball.
You got to be.
Like, that's like, but then also you got Jaylen Brown who can kick it too. He can make a semi-contested three at a high rate. Like that's another big challenge for the Warriors. But who you got winning?
Heart says Warriors. Mine says Celtics. I'm gonna go Celtics in 7. It's hard for me to go against defense.
Now, I think this is going to be obviously the biggest challenge so far for the Warriors. The Celtics present so many different looks, so many different like they could match up well with these Warriors team. Like, but at the same time, the Warriors are going to be.
The thing with the Warriors, though, is that in the Memphis series, they struggled because Memphis made it grimy, made it dirty. They made it like a slugfest. And the Warriors like it where it's a flow, where it's moving. Like, Dallas made it kind of easier from them from a stylistic standpoint, where it was always flow. And Memphis made it choppy. And Boston's going to make it even choppier than Memphis did. So that's where, like, at the end of the day, I think Boston will be able to succeed in the choppy moments while the Warriors will. I don't know how they'll deal with it because they did struggle against Memphis when those times came. But they're still like an elite offense where you can be choppy for a quarter and still have like a 30-0 run, like realistically like a 30-12 run in a quarter, and you're up like after being down. So that's where the challenge comes because like the Warriors are so elite and they're so connected as a team at both ends of the floor. And Boston offensively has so many struggles, but their defense is just that top tier, like crazy elite, one of one that it's hard for me to go against them.
Yeah, like the Boston matches up like I wouldn't say like perfectly, but like probably as well as you can get in this entire NBA. Just because of that defense, like their defense is insane, but I think that the Warriors are just too much. Like, I think that they're too much firepower, too much, like, they're playing as well as you hope, like, as well as you basically can at this stage of the season. Like, they manhandled three straight teams. I mean, they kind of struggled with the Grizzlies, but, like, they controlled the series.
How many games?
6, but they were 3-1.
We'll see what happens.
That's one the Warriors have struggled in closeout games.
Oh no! I mean, like how many games you say?
Oh no! I got Warriors in 6.
Warriors in 6.
I hope it's close games. I hope it's not blowouts.
Yeah.
I hope it's not a blowout here, blowout there, blowout here.
That's what the first 2 rounds were so good, and then this conference finals was like blowout for blowout, except like 2-3 games. Miami. The last 2 games of the East Conference Finals were close. And then
there's that whole
2 games out west.
There's
1 game out west. That was like kind of close
because the like one team would be up at least 15.
Yeah.
At some point in the game.
Yeah.
So it would just be 15 here, then a run, 15 there, a run.
All right. Before we close this out, though, Miami and Dallas, phenomenal seasons. Like y'all don't have really like I would say off season wise. Dallas, we'll talk about this more. Like,
yeah, we're gonna have a podcast coming out probably Friday talking about, we're gonna pick 3 different teams and we're gonna start diving into the off season. So we're gonna come out with some of that content, and then we're hoping to continue like game breakdowns, live streams, and then kind of if we like maybe like just 10 minutes in a podcast talking about what happened in the past game or 2 games. So.
For like Miami, you need to probably find a backup center, but besides that, you need to keep this unit together. I think like the talent, the youth, and experience is insane. They've been through it 2 conference finals in 3 years. A really good unit. And Dallas,
one big splash.
You guys I think continue to add role players. That's my opinion. We'll dive into Dallas more at the podcast later this week, but continue to build around Luka. You guys are going to be contenders for as long as Luka is a Maverick. So just keep him there, keep the talent around him at a high level, and you should be good for a long time. So, but congrats to them. Great seasons. Not the way you wanted to finish probably, but really good years. Now we're on to the beginning of the end. It has been an awesome year, and hopefully these finals live up to how the year's been.
Yes.
Thank you guys for listening to the podcast. Make sure to check out the YouTube. We got more podcasts coming later this week, and this podcast will be on video edition on YouTube. So make sure to listen/watch there. And yeah, it's been nice, and we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.